Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Dan with Senior E-Bike Nation. Hey, we're going to get out and do probably a 15-mile ride today. More of a leisure ride. I'm going to be taking my Cyrusher Kommoda today. And I'll show you when I get up to the halfway point. I put some turn signals on this thing. We're very inexpensive on Amazon. So yeah, if you guys want to look at that, I'll show that at the halfway point of my video. So yeah, let's give it a ride. I'll see you on the trail. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan with Senior E-Bike Nation. Welcome to my channel. This is segment number 2 of our ride. We're just now leaving the blessing box here where I had dropped off some food, and we're going to head on up to the trail to my halfway point, and then we're going to be talking about this bike. It is a lot of fun to ride. Again, this is the Cyrusher Kommoda. It's a nice 20-inch step-through bike, but we'll be talking about all that when we get up here. So yeah, let's get on the trail. Maybe today we can see some deer. I seen 2 or 3 deer last time on the trail. Little fawns. They were away from their mother, but I'm sure the mother was close enough to them. So yeah, got the pedal assist back on. Let's move. Yeah, I got you guys all down in Florida in my thoughts and prayers. That hurricane coming through there. Of course, most of you that's lived down there so many years, you know the drill. You know when it's time to evacuate out of that area. I think Governor DeSantis has done a really good job on how he facilitates all of that down there. Yeah, this bike I put a turn signal on. Right up here is my remote. And I'll explain that when I get to the halfway point. It's really good when I'm road riding. People can actually see me turning because I got the lights on the back of my seat post just below the seat. So people are going to be able to see me and on my intent and where I'm going. And with this turn signal package, I got an alarm that came with it. It's extremely loud. It was like a 5-in-1 where you got flashing lights on it and turn signals and solid brake lights, and yeah, it's a quality turn signal, and it was very inexpensive. I found it on Amazon, but I'll put that all down in the description box of where I got that. So if you guys want to get that, you can. I love these bar-end mirrors that I put on this bike. I want to thank Richard down at E-Bike Reviews and Adventures down in Florida, his channel. I ordered them off his channel, and I recommend, if you guys love these mirrors, to either go to my channel or his, and you guys can order this, and it helps the channel out a little bit. So again, I want to give a shout out to him down in Florida. We email back and forth all the time on our videos, and he's a wealth of information. Some people don't acknowledge you're coming, some people do. We'll only have to use one battery today. We're only going to be doing 15, 16 miles, so now if I was doing a 30-mile ride and longer, I'd go ahead and change the batteries out. I have an extra battery I carry in my bag, so I carry that with me. Yeah, let's talk about what I do carry with me on the bike. That's something we need to go over. First of all, first and foremost is your cell phone. Now, my cell phone has GPS on the Strava app, And also, my wife and my sons can also see where I'm at any given time on the trail, and it's extremely accurate. So that's on the Strap app. So that's one thing is very important to carry. I guess the number 2 thing you want to think about carrying is bike repair kit. I carry a little bottle of slime, or I can do flat out as well. I prefer flat out over slime, but unfortunately they don't carry flat out in the small bottles to go, but slime does. So it's got a little tool on the bottle where you can actually, if you get it flat, you can actually take out the stem, and then you just put the little hose right over that and fill it up. And you want to let that take that stem out if there's still a little bit of air in your tire, if you got a low tire or flat, and go ahead and let all that air completely out. At that point, you can go ahead and put the slime or flat out if you have it with you. Put in what the recommended amount is that goes in the bike. And you always want to have the valve at the top of the tire, so you can, once you put that stuff in there, then you can turn the tire a few times over so it coats the inside of that inner tube, and at that point then you just put air back into it. I carry an electric bike pump that's rechargeable. I really like it. I think it's down in my description box. So those 2 things are pretty important to carry with a flat tire. And you want to go ahead and carry a little tire lever in case you have to take that tire completely off the bike to replace an inner tube that might be destroyed. And that way you can take the tire off the bike when you're on the trail. A couple recumbent bikes up here. On your left. On your left. Thank you. I carry a big lock in my bike bag. It's called an ABUS, A-B-U-S lock. Extremely highly effective. Maybe the #1 bike lock there is. It's expensive for this lock. But I tell you what, if you got to lock your bike down, it's a large lock. So where if you find a pole or something you can lock it down to, I highly recommend doing that. Or carry you they got them in rope locks as well, where you can carry that but you know, if somebody's got cable cutters, they can cut right through them smaller locks and those rope locks. But I think with this ABUS lock, it would take a very powerful grinder a little while to get through this thing. And there are portable grinders these guys carry so they can steal these things. But as much as you can deter them from stealing it, obviously the best. But you also want to carry somewhat of a first aid kit if you can. You got room for it. Some band-aids, some gauze, and some tape. You may just never know when you may need that. A bottle of pain relief might help if you get a headache or whatever. And a lot of times, if you don't have a Strava app or something where you can, they can pinpoint your location, whether it be 911 or your family or whatever. You can always, again, carry your phone to where your GPS is on most smartphones anyway. But you might want to tell somebody before you leave and when you're coming home. My wife asks me every morning if I'm going to go on a bike ride. And when she sees her van out in the driveway, she knows I've got the bike out. Or if I'm running behind on something, sitting talking to somebody for a long time on the bike trail, I'll call her and let her know, or text her and let her know I'm running behind. She knows it normally takes me between an hour and 2 hours to do a bike ride. And that could be a 15-mile ride, or if I go 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours, that'll be a 30-mile ride. She knows that. And most of the time, if I'm going to change direction, I'll tell her that I'm going, excuse me, going downtown or doing something different than my normal bike ride, which I'm on today. Again, I'm supposed to be getting another bike in here in the next 5 to 10 days. Well, 5 to 8 days. They're just now getting ready to ship it. Coming out of California, which most of them are coming out of California. This bike has supposedly got a 100-mile range on it. It's a 20-inch fat tire bike. But yeah, it's got a huge battery on it. This thing has got a 48 volt, 60 amp hour battery. This battery alone weighs 30 pounds. And it's integrated right into the frame of the bike. But I'll put all the information up on that when I review it. I did not get that bike free from the manufacturer. I negotiated a deal for it. Promised them a few videos on it, so they give me a discount on it. So yeah, that'll be coming up probably next week. We'll be reviewing that one too. We are going to try to do a long range review on that bike. I have Caleb going with me, and we'll be taking a bike that's got a couple batteries that we can use. And get probably a 50-mile ride in, and we may finish up the ride the next day, or we may stop somewhere and charge the battery that we need to for an hour or two on one of his batteries. But I really want to see if this bike will do close to 100 miles. Now, take in mind, I'm 225 pounds, and that's got a lot to do with the distance you're going to get out of one of these bikes. On your left. Thank you. I think she was a new rider. She decided not to get over to the right, so she probably don't know trail etiquette real well, but that's okay. At least she's out getting exercise. I really appreciate that. She just slowed down and stayed on the side so I can go by her. So I'll be looking forward to reviewing that bike. I watched a couple videos where a guy did get 100 miles on it. He did it in a 2-day segment as well. But he did not recharge that bike when he got it home. He left it exactly where it was. He had like 2 bars left after, I think it was 80 miles maybe he did. Somewhere out in California, and he was going up Hollywood Hills and all that, so that was pretty impressive. But he was thinner than I am, so again, weight's got a whole lot to do with these bikes. You're just not going to get the distance out of these bikes when you're heavier. But 60 amp hours is going to get you some serious distance on a bike. Most batteries are only 20 amp hours, so that's 3 times the size of that. On your left. Thank you. We're getting close to our halfway point, less than a mile up here to go. On your left. I bumped it up pedal assist 5 here a little bit. We'll drop her back down to 3. We're cruising along at about 17 miles an hour in pedal assist 3 on this Cyrusher Kommoda. Yeah, I haven't had to use my turn signal at all, because pretty much when I left the house, I just had a couple small turns to get up on the trail. And there's basically no turns from there. But yeah, we just got a gorgeous day out here to ride. You can definitely feel fall in the air. Past this bridge is our halfway point. That's when we're getting off the bike, and I'll be talking about this thing. And the accessories that I put on the bike and things of that nature. put this thing back down on 0. There we go. Oh, set the bike over here, and then I'll put my coffee down here, and we'll talk about the bike. Okay, this is the Cyrusher Kommoda. This is a 20-inch fat tire bike that Cyrusher makes, and it's got dual suspension front and back, as you can see, and it's got adjustments and lockouts, and it's got another suspension here in the rear, which is really cool, which ties into your arm that goes back to the frame itself. And this bike has got a 750 watt, that's 750 rear watt motor made by Bafang, which is one of the most popular bike motors there are on e-bikes. And it's also got a 48 volt 14 amp hour battery that sits in the down tube. All you do is take this and turn this key, and this battery pops out. You can either leave it on the bike and charge it down here, or you can actually take the battery out to charge it. So there's a guy that does not like me. I don't know what his problem is, but this guy right here is just rude. He hates e-bikes. I don't know if he just don't like me or he just don't like e-bikes. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. I run into him all the time on the trail, and he's just shaking his head and just giving me bad looks and everything. But anyway, that's enough of him. All I do is pray about it. But other than that, it's also got a 7-speed Shimano shifter with buttons here to go back and forth, and so if you want to change gears, which I typically always leave it in channel, or I leave it in gear 7 anyway. It's got Zoom hydraulic brakes, very good brakes. Caleb and I had to bleed these one time, and but other than that, it seems to be doing pretty well. And it has also got a pedal assist 1 through 5, as you can see. And it shows I use 20%. I'd probably use a little less. I may have a voltage sag. But yeah, if you go to pedal assist 1, it's going to get you to about 10 mile an hour. Pedal assist 2 will get you probably 12 to 13. Pedal assist 3 will get you to 15 to 17. Pedal assist 4 will get you to about 22, around there. And if you go to pedal assist 5 with a full charged battery, you'll get to about 28 mile an hour on this bike. As you can see, I've put on 1,728 miles on this bike so far. And today's ride, I've done 7 miles on the tripometer. And to reset that, you just hold down the bottom button and the bottom down arrow, and then the control button, and that actually resets your tripometer on the bike. But yeah, it's got a very comfortable seat. This is actually the stock seat on this bike. I left it alone for over a year. It's been very comfortable. And again, it's got the tourney derailleur, as you can see here. I love this double-sided bracket they have for the pedals, because that keeps that chain inside there when you're changing gears. So very well designed in that respect. That's a little bit about the bike. It's got a half twist throttle right here also. So I like the twist throttle better than I do the thumb throttle. Bikes, about half of them got it, and I think about half of them don't have it. So, but anyway, I changed out the pedals and put on some of these orange pedals. They're a little wider than the ones that are on the bike. The only downside of this bike is if you go on a turn, and sometimes this pedal will bottom out on the pavement. So when they sent me the Ovia, which is another 20-inch bike, that's changed a little bit so that pedal doesn't hit concrete or something like that. Then I'm sure of other people, excuse me, that own this bike know that. But yeah, and it's also got, I think, 160 millimeter rotors on front and back. And wire management's done very well on this bike. As you can see, it goes right down into the down tube. And yeah, let me talk about a couple of things about this bike that are accessories. Let's go ahead and talk about this accessory right here. This is your turn signals, and it's got a left and right. So if I hit the left one, you can hear the noise. And then to stop it, you just hit that again. Then of course your right sounds a little different. So that's something I did purchase for the bike. Again, it's got an alarm on it that you can set where it's extremely loud. I'm not going to set that right now, but it does have an alarm on it, and it's got braking on it. And I really like this alarm system. I purchased them actually for all my bikes, but I'll have it down in the description box on it. And I did purchase this Cyrusher bag, and this is a little bit longer than most other bike bags. And the reason I like this, I can carry my extra battery inside this bag, which is a fairly long battery that goes down in the down tube here. So again, if I want to extend my range to 50 to 60 miles, I can do that with that extra battery. And but other than that, I purchased these cup holders. I put these on all my bikes. This is actually for wheelchairs, but it's got a great clamp here to get it on and off. And so I put that on most of my bikes as well. And here's these bar end mirrors that I was talking about. I just really like. I seen these on Richard's bike down at e-bike reviews and adventures down in Florida. And I really love these bar end mirrors. They're actually just go right into the end of the handlebar. And I just love it because they got a kind of a blue tint to them, and it's you don't get as much reflection if the sun hits that. So that's really cool. And the only other thing, couple things I purchased, I always purchase these bars for my bike where I can put accessories on, like my Acruna mirror. This mirror, I mean this light, it's a 2600 lumen light. And as you can see, this is daytime. Look how bright this is. So yeah, I purchased that for all my bikes as well. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful bike. I don't have any issues with it at all. I said the only issue I did have, let me take this camera off so I can talk about this. The only issue I did have, like I said, these bolts come loose on the crank arms, and all they had to be, and that caused a clicking sound. So once those were tightened down, I did not have that problem anymore. So keep that in mind on these Cyrushers or any other bike. They always check this nut on these hex nuts on these pedals on the crank arm to make sure they're tight at all times. I don't know if it just worked loose or what, but anyway. Yeah, and I forgot to also mention this bike also has dual hydraulic brakes on it. As I did mention, them are Zoom brakes. But yeah, let me know if you guys got any questions on this bike. I highly recommend it. It's priced right now, I think it's $16.99 plus tax, which I think is a great deal on this bike. It's one of my favorite bikes without a doubt. So yeah, anyway, that's about the end of the video for today. But if you got any questions on the Cyrusher Kommoda or any thoughts on it, let me know. But yeah, hit that like and share and subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and I will see you guys on the next video.